Hi, everybody, and welcome to Bad Work Stories Made Good, the podcast where we help you find the solutions to the bad stuff that goes down at work. Emma and I, we're on a mission, girlfriend, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. The mission is on.
The mission is on to stop suffering at work. Seriously, Emma and I between us have decades of experience. We've seen it, we've heard it, we've been part of it, we've had it ourselves, we've worked with it in order to move this forward. And we want to pass our experience onto you and give you some options that you can take and make your own to move your bad work story, make it good. So tune in, sit down, grab a beverage, put your working shoes on, whatever you need to do, and we'll hit this week's bad work story to be made good. Good morning, Emma. How's it in your beautiful part of the world down in New Zealand today?
Well, as you can see, the sun is just rising. I might actually, have to put the blind down. It might blind us too much. The fire is definitely pumping because it's cold. It is winter, but sunshine's definitely welcome here. How is it with you?
Well, I have to say, anyone listening in Europe, you know it's summer here, but I have a cardigan on. I would love that fire. I've got a hot cup of tea beside me. And that would, and the sunshine coming through. It looks amazing. It looks really beautiful with the view coming through.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So this week, bad work story, what have we got? Well, the bad work story is something that has literally just broken in the last couple of weeks here in the UK. And you might even know this individual from his time back down in New Zealand. So the big breaking story around culture for me anyway is ITV and the scandal surrounding Philip Schofield. And it's kind of less...
Yeah, definitely an identity from New Zealand.
Yeah. So I must have seen him on TV, when I lived there as well. But he's been over here in the UK for the last 23 years, right? And is the big, powerful star and hosts their flagship program called This Morning, which is kind of, starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, goes for a couple of hours, targeting daytime TV. And he's been, as I said, doing this for a long time. So the scandal that is broken is kind of on several layers, and it's less about kind of him, but more about the culture and the organizational perspective. That is what, you and I are interested in. So I'll just go through a couple of the background pieces. So if anyone's new...
Yeah, sure. Let us know what's going on. Yeah.
So for someone new listening to the channel or just tuning in, our approach, Emma and I, is to kind of take a bad work story, give a little context and background to kind of, so you kind of understand what's going on. And then we kind of dissect it and go into how can we make this better, good, right? So, so the kind of the layers of it are, I've got kind of some key points behind me so I don't miss anything here. So the first piece up is that he had an inappropriate work-based relationship with a man who was much, much younger than him. And the allegation is that this individual was 15 when they started to kind of know each other. And Philip Schofield had up till last Friday, I think it was, denied that he had ever had a work-based relationship. And this is all the commentary coming out this is despite everybody in the building at ITV and beyond, right? If you'd worked with ITV, you were a guest of ITV, that everybody knew that this young person was having an affair with Philip Schofield. And at this point in time, he, I don't think he'd come out as gay yet. And although I might be wrong on that, so don't sue me. And he was still married, right? He was still married. So there, there's some personal kind of stuff going on there, but the thing is around what happened in the organization. So here you have a denial happening, and everybody knows about it, right? Everybody.
Yeah. No secret. It's no secret, really.
It's no secret. And, every single commentator that you hear, like, Piers Morgan, you guys will know, him as well, quite a big commentator. ITV as well, just saying every single person knew that this affair was going on, right? And so then we have, a duty of care perspective, right? So then a resident TV doctor at the time kind of noticed some things, made a complaint, nothing happened. So that individual left, right? So someone spoke up, fell on deaf ears, and therefore this person felt in terms of their integrity that they would leave the program, right? Now, the people who stayed, like, understandably, like, there's no judgment here. People have, bills to pay, lives to conduct. Those people, it was a closed, like a cover-up culture, right? And they had to go along, and this person was included in lots of stuff. And, like, there would have been a lot of questions and a lot of, oh, well, this is just what is allowed for this particular powerful individual to continue. And so next we have all this floodgate of behaviours, toxic behaviours coming through. So this individual, this is Philip Schofield, was allowed to get away with bullying, superior arrogance, downright rudeness. There's talk of him not even coming in to say hello to people in green rooms before they would go on the couch with him and his co-host. Something like, I'm superior, I'm more important, I am the king of the show. And all of this was tolerated, right?
Yeah.
So, and then
that cult of celebrity where everyone, kowtows to the big person.
Yeah. And again, no one spoke up, right? No, this culture of cover up and silence, because it was, how far do we go to protect the brand, right? So we protect the brand completely, right? Because Philip Schofield and his co-host were the brand for this flagship of ITV. So what else have we got? So then the shock horror on Friday, he resigns, admitting that he lied about this affair and that he lied to the leadership of ITV and to his co-host and to his family and to, the public, if you like, as
everybody
very dearly. And the kicker is everybody is shocked and upset in the ITV world. Oh, shock horror. He was having an affair and he lied to us. How dare he? I asked him and he didn't. He lied to me. So we have this kind of abdication of responsibility. And Philip Schofield is accepting all the blame. He's saying, no, people didn't know. I was bad. I made a maljudgment, etc., etc. So we have all of this going on, right? So if we step back from that, all of that chaos and drama, like, where do we go, right? So what's our first step of looking at that? But before we jump into that, Emma, any kind of reflections or comments from you to, just on what you...
Yeah, I mean, I think people probably think, this is a rare occurrence, but it seems like we're hearing a lot more about this daily. So I think that working in an industry where there are stars, people who are supposedly, be wary. It might sound like a glamorous, glorious kind of place to be, but actually what's coming out is these are very toxic workplaces. So beware.
And just on that, I heard a really interesting comment, which was that people in the business kind of have an attitude of, well, we're lucky to be here anyway. So that's okay,
right. Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
it's got a cost. It's got the cost.
Yeah. And the cost is included in that. And we know that the cost to people's integrity, the cost to people's health, the cost to meet people's mental health, daily, hitting up against this, these lies, if you like, or this, this cover-up culture, the toxicity of these behaviours is big. And the big thing in the light of the public is that the show is all about happy, be kind, be nice, everything's rosy, but really behind the scenes, it's toxic. We don't talk to each other. Even the stars, it's, now coming out that they don't connect. Yeah. So in terms of making it good,
let's look at how we can turn
Yeah,
this one around.
turning around this round and round. So we kind of have a bit of a segue, and that segue into is, when I first heard about this, I was thinking like, well, everyone's got their opinion, and a lot of the employees of ITV have some very, very strong statements to say about cover up and toxicity. And then I thought, well, what's a reference point for this? And as you know, Emma, what we do is we always like to go back to purpose and culture. So what is the reference point, or what is the alignment, the commitment that the leadership and the whole,
That's right. What is the culture this organisation wants to create and has made their statements about?
Exactly, right. So interesting enough, I haven't heard. I might not have heard it. It might be out there, but I haven't heard it about what is the reference point there. So, public knowledge. I went onto the ITV website, and behold, around what I saw. Right. So let me have a read of this, because I don't want to misjudge anything here. So this is what it says on the website. Have a listen to this and give me your response. And they say they have a social purpose, right? So our social purpose is about using the power of ITV to shape culture for good. We use our creativity and scale to inspire positive change in the world and nurture a responsible and inclusive working environment. That's the opening starters, right?
Wow.
To shape culture for good. Now, I know that they are probably meaning like culture of the UK.
Talking about into the broadcast, yeah. But reality is, if you're bad on the inside, it's going to come out somehow.
Exactly. Exactly, right. So that's the two sides of the coin, right? So then it goes on their website. So if you look at, like, I wanted to know what their values are or their principles are, right? And so there's about 4 of them here. But the one that relates to, and this is again just clicking down on the website, the one that relates to what we're talking about in culture was that they have this principle of better health. It's better physical and mental health. And it has this video about, which was part of a Get Britain Talking campaign. So isn't that interesting? To encourage better physical and mental health, we have a Get Talking campaign. Like, are we seeing that kind of, it's the...
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No. Let's not talk about some things, right? And they're kind of slashing million. I think it was 7 or 10 million people that they've helped. And the campaign, and this is not in any way to belittle the seriousness of the campaign or the goals. What I am making a comment about is the hypocrisy, if you like, and exactly what you just said, Emma. Yeah. What we do on the inside is completely different to our external facing brand behavior, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it continues, right? So then it talks about well-being off screen, right? I thought it was interesting. And it says here, let me read again straight off the website. Well-being is an essential part of ITV, both on and off screen. Whether through our duty of care team, workshops on peer-to-peer support, or health checks with the ITV Feel Good, ITV takes care of its colleagues, production teams, and show participants. And I tell you, some show participants are coming out of the woodwork saying how nasty Philip Schofield has been to them, that they were reduced to tears, feeling suicidal, like their mental health has been played with. And, can you imagine, when you're on these shows as the crew every day facing up to this environment?
Yeah.
And the show runs from Monday to Thursday, and then on Friday they have a different crew, different presenters come in. And time again, I've seen, people refer to that the tension on set between Monday to Friday compared to the vibe, the feel, the relax on a Friday, very, very different. So then the next piece, and I promise this is the last piece I'm going to talk about reading, is the Duty of Care Charter, which was done by the CEO in 2021. So again, I'll just read a couple of paragraphs, Emma, and get your instant reaction to them. First up, it says, our commitment to people is our highest priority at ITV. It's kind of like you want to say our highest commitment is to the brand and to
Yes.
which,
And our stars and keeping secrets and
and then it goes. This is reflected in our commitment to the care we take for the physical and mental health and safety of the employees and others we work with. Yeah, right. We have a comprehensive operational risk management process. Through this, we identify risks to people's physical and mental health and safety and implement measures to manage them appropriately. Well, it's just like everything you read.
really?
It's for like, really? And when they actually did, I think they
Yeah.
did an internal investigation. I think maybe 6 or 12 months after the first kind of complaint, or if you like, whistleblower, kind of said something to them, to the leadership team, to the management, that they did an internal investigation, right? So they may argue that, the internal investigation was in here. But apparently, well, as it is said, that the internal investigation was, to Philip Schofield, did you have an affair with X? No, I did not. And they went to X, the young man, and said, did you have an affair with Philip Schofield? He said, no. And that was it. Beyond hearsay and rumour, there was nothing concrete that they could talk about. So this is kind of the defence, if you like, of leadership. Then it goes on into some other stuff, and then I'll pick up later down on the charter. It says that leadership is to establish a supportive climate within everything we do, with a focus on health and safety. I mean, seriously. Share information, ensure that everyone has a voice which is listened to. I mean, this just is such a big example of silence and secrets and people holding back and not speaking up. So much has been unsaid in that culture. We provide support, training, and systems for helping our people manage risk. We want to ensure that working at or with ITV is happy, safe, and a productive working environment. And we will strive to review and improve our systems and processes to support our commitment. We are passionate about everybody having a voice which is listened to. So if you have a concern about anything relating to our duty of care to you or others, please let us know at care@itv.com. And it's signed off, Carolyn McClaw, the Chief Executive, approved by the Duty of Care Operating Board. Well, what do you make of all of that?
Well, I make it a lot of pretty words that are making very little difference in people's lives. So, I mean, I think, to be honest, although this is a very public example, you and I have worked in organisations and with organisations that have also had pretty words on the wall and on their websites, and similarly had toxic cultures. So, yeah, I mean, it's sad. It really is, because someone's done a lot of really good work here to develop what sounds and seems like a very, very positive framework for working at ITV. And that's exactly what we want. I mean, if I was going to go for a job there, I was, in my happy place thinking, whoa, I'm about to get a job at ITV. I've done everything, and I've looked at the website, and it looks like a fantastic culture. I would just be absolutely gobsmacked when the reality of what's going on there, I was experiencing it, because, as we've said, you can't hide from this stuff. It permeates culture. It is culture, in fact. The reverse, when the reverse is going on. So yeah, sad stuff. But sadly familiar.
Yeah, sadly familiar. So that brings us to so how do we make it?
Yes.
And it's
time to turn this around, team. Time to turn this around.
Time to turn it around.
Yeah, how are we going to make it good? Wow. Do you want me to give I can have a stab. I'll have a stab at it. Let's see what I can do with it. Well, I mean, I think the first thing is that level of honesty and openness. So I think what this creates is gossipy cultures, the back channels, and that's another part of this bad work story. But actually being able to be open and honest about how you're feeling in a workplace, and to your to your colleagues, your manager, saying when you feel uncomfortable, and why. So actually being able to explain the behaviours. So be explicit about what behaviour is it that is making you feel uncomfortable. Because otherwise it's like, oh, you're just making it up, or, oh, it's just you're sensitive. So, this is the reality, is if you are feeling uncomfortable, you are downright allowed to make a comment and to be own that feeling and bring it forward. So that'll be my first step. I'd say, don't hide this, don't accept it, don't use the back channel, the gossipy, the pub, it's probably, they're probably, out the back, because that's not going to solve the problem. So be open and honest. Try, and a manager, an HR person, find someone in the organization who's going to listen. You might have to go to the CEO. She says she wants to listen. So yeah. Where do you go? That'll be a first suggestion from me. What about from you?
I was just thinking, I wonder who's on the end of the care.itv.com email.
Yeah, I know. Some poor person that's got to deal with all of that.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think, like when you were speaking, what came up for me was the, where are those behaviours being role modelled? And how do we give feedback to power? Because one of the most powerful people in this organization was I think it's the editor or controlled this particular program. So it's kind of like, how do we actually give feedback when the power play is so power over, we would say, is so very, very clear. And finding someone on the board, or it's kind of like an ally, someone whose behavior maybe not is like this, that actually is open to a perspective of, like, it's like, this is a different perspective. This is how things are.
It's about shining the light. It's about shining the light on something that everyone else is looking the other way from. And so, but, there may well be team members as well. And, sometimes it's going together rather than being the only person that's, so that you're not, I'm not the whinging one. I'm not the one that's just being precious. It's not just about me. This is about us as a team and performing well. And, productivity is what we're wanting from everyone. But being in an environment like this is not a productive environment. It's a divisive environment. So
and I'm wondering, like, we know from working a lot with executive teams, right, that when they have a wake up moment with a strong facilitator, who actually is not afraid to go, well, in this case, it comes like toe to toe, meaning like ask those challenging questions, or, open that up around curiosity about, how are you listening to your people? What is going on that is not being said? And often we find an attitude in organizations where, oh, well, those, we'll do once a year kind of thing, or maybe nothing, but lower down teams who are having issues, yes, you can have some care and attention. But actually, how is that reflected in our own honesty, integrity, transparency? How can we learn?
Yeah. Leadership's got to look in the mirror. And the thing is that, culture's made every day. Every day in the workplace. It's not made when we do these special interventions, or we do, workshops to look at our culture. It's made every day. And so those behaviours need to be robust and real. And we need to hold each other to account, and have a culture, create a culture that allows that to be okay and safe.
Totally. And I just, when I just think about that duty of care, and think about, the program of Get Britain Talking, and then we want to be listened to, that
I'm gonna put my blind.
The thing around leadership, the blue sky is looking amazing. The coherence, if you like, or the alignment of who we project to be on the outside, our brand, and who we are on the inside. Are we really,
Yeah.
that'd be a great leadership question, right? Are we truly as transparent and as amazing as we really think we are? What are we projecting on, as our brand? How are we really, on the inside? Yeah.
It's a big business question. So this is not, not just the soft stuff and as I say, people being, precious. This is actually business imperative for you to be authentic to your brand and live your values. Something else that's come up, of course, is that, the doctor was a warning signal, leaving. And that is an option for people. Like, if you find this environment in an environment you're in is toxic and it is affecting your health and well-being, and you've spoken up and and you haven't had any sort of, help from the organization or the fact that they may not even take it seriously, then do what's right for you. Leave. Because that's another signal to the organization that it's not well. If you have lots of people leaving, then you have lots of people, and then you have something going on, something that's not right. So deal with it.
And
another sign.
And that's really, really tough, right? In certain countries or areas that that just may not be an option for you.
Absolutely.
So in terms of employment and paying your bills and all of those things. And the ad is, what is the cost to your values alignment? What is the cost to your own, it's going to be hay fever, your own integrity, your own mental health. And every time you come home, what are you bitching about, or what are you saying, and you have, and go to the document, right? This document said safe mental and physical working environment. Well, excuse me, but what I've heard is it's not mentally safe. We have to pretend. We have to.
No, I think start the email bomb campaign to care@itv.com. Just spam it, just hit it day in, day out, everybody. Fill up that inbox. See what happens if you actually really speak up, amplify it. The campaign, get on with it.
So we talked about feedback, like really, getting the feedback piece. And I think, I don't know if you said it, Emma, but that piece around it's this is the impact of this behavior on me. So when we pretend that nothing's happening, but really we know this shit is going on.
That's right. That's what I said about the feeling. So what is it? How do I feel? This makes me feel uncomfortable. So totally, own it.
And then if nothing happens and you find out that this organization or this team are a pretense city, then right? Was it, do your best to change something, accept the outcome, and then leave if you need to. The other piece is again that strong facilitation basis. Like, what is the strength from that team, in your team, the capacity that you have as an organization, or you, the leader, right, to actually hold these really strong, difficult conversations, that are challenging, right? This is really tough work, to do. What else can we do?
Well, there's definitely some material there for you to look at how to make this good. It's not that easy. However, it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Happy, productive workplaces, and having a job which you love and can contribute at your best. So that's what we're looking for. So take something on board from there. If it's reflecting with you, get in touch with Corina or I, because we understand that sometimes you need someone on the outside to talk to find a way forward. So we're happy to help.
Yeah, totally. And and I have nothing else to add.
No. Go and warm up. Go and have another warm drink, Corina, and as the sun is blasting in here.
So well done. So so till next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
See you later.